Um, every morning I make a smoothie for my boys, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, because they don't like to eat their vegetables, and this is our way of convincing ourselves that we're being good parents, that our boys will live forever. So, I put in the fruit and the yogurt and the juice, and then carrots and spinach. So this one morning I'm making it. We use a Vitamix. I use a Vitamix machine, which is very loud, jet engine loud, and but not quite loud enough to completely drown out the sound of my 5-year-old upstairs fussing and whining because he doesn't want to get dressed. So I figured if I just keep making the smoothie forever, then I'll never have to deal with it. But at some point I have to close it off and pour the cups. And I go upstairs, and on the way up I'm convincing myself that it's going to be okay because I have fresh legs, unlike my wife, whose legs were decidedly not fresh at that point in time, having gone through the last 20 minutes of dealing with our boy. And I get up there and I can see her in our room having basically thrown up her hands saying, he can go to school naked, it doesn't matter to me. And I go down to his room and I'm talking to myself like, I'm going to be a great dad here, I'm going to be a great dad here. And I look in and I see him, and he's just sitting on the floor, and he's pretty calm at that point in time. And I say, look, do you want to ask me a question? And he says, well, Daddy, can you help me get dressed? And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll stay with you. You can get dressed, but I'll be with you the whole time. And I'm holding my breath because he might not buy that. And but he does, and he starts putting on his shirt and his pants, and then it's time for the socks, which is the worst part because he happens to have 10 toes. And the socks have to get over the toes, which are like bear claws for me and for him at that point in time. And he pulls on the first sock and it goes on well, and then he pulls on the second sock and it hooks on one of his toes. And I hold my breath, and then he starts to wail, I can't do it. And I told you I had fresh legs, which I did. It turns out, though, that my brain and my heart were thoroughly pickled in the brine of my son's recalcitrance. And so I grabbed him by the arms and I squeezed them just a bit too tightly, and I screamed in his face, then just asked for help. And for a second, it felt great. And then, the shame washed over very, very quickly thereafter. And I got up and I walked out of the room, and my wife and my sons had already gone down. My older son and my wife had gone downstairs. And I could hear him call after me as I'm walking down the hall, Daddy, why did you have to make it worse? Which it felt great. And so I go down the stairs, and my wife is waiting at the bottom, and she says, what happened? Why did it ramp back up? And I said, because I'm an asshole. And she said, when I said it, part of it was the shame, and then there was also part of it that was like this acceptance, like, I'm an asshole. And I won't have to deal with the guilt anymore. I could just be an asshole, and that would be great. But mostly it was the shame and the guilt. So I walked to our office, and I got on my backpack because I'm an English teacher, and I have to go off to school and teach other people's children after I've really screwed up our own. And so I get my backpack on, and I go out to the front door to stand, just looking out the door in a very melodramatic way, like, with my backpack and looking out, and there's the world out there, and I'm stuck in here. So, but I see out on the porch this cat, this Siamese cat that I'd never seen before. Beautiful, light brown fur and a dark brown face. And as I said, I'm an English teacher, right? So I have all these thoughts go through my head, like it's grace, it's symbolic of my desire to escape to a place of peace amidst the chaos. It's Deus Ex Machina, And then I look over and I see my son just standing there in the hallway, and I call him over. And he's a little reluctant to come over, understandably, but he comes over, and I pick him up, and I hold him, and I can smell the Tom's strawberry toothpaste on his breath. you know, because we want him to live forever, so you get the good organic toothpaste. And I'm holding him, and I say, look out there, and he looks out, and he doesn't see it at first, but then he locks eyes on it, and he says, Daddy, why is it there? And I say, I don't know. It's just come to visit. And that was, you know, that was the truth of it. You know, we rode the spell of that cat all the way down to our basement, out to the car. But the point is that I knew as soon as I saw that cat that you know, for no reason that I had earned, for no rational reason, that particular crisis had come to an end. You know, I think it's important in families and relationships, right? You should earn most of the endings that you get to, the ends of crises. You should work for it, you know, if you love the people that you're in the crisis with. But sometimes, you know, sometimes it's really nice when a mystical, magical cat appears on your doorstep to bring the crisis to an end. Thank you.